Good evening, good afternoon, good morning.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're all keeping well. So beautiful to see our family. It's been a while since we've been on Zoom, but I'm sure a lot of you have been following us on Facebook and seeing our adventures the last basically 2
Two
weeks while
weeks.
here in the
Yep.
US. And yeah, right now we are dialing in from Salt Lake City in Utah,
Utah.
where LifeWave head office is, and we had the privilege of going to the office yesterday. Um, Pictures don't do it justice. It's just like absolutely mind-blowing. It
Beautiful,
feels like you're on the
beautiful.
Starship Enterprise. Just the most amazing thing to see, and beautifully set up, and met a whole lot of the people, and it was just absolutely phenomenal. So we're here at the moment, and we just had we had meetings with Wayne, who's the marketing director of Lifeway from corporate, and talking about expansion, specifically for most of the people on the call are, from South Africa. We're talking about getting the office set up, which is very exciting, and also talking about growth going into Africa. So very, very exciting things on the cards. So that's just on where we are at the moment. We can be here for a few more days. But what we're all here to talk about is what happened over the weekend. On Friday and Saturday was LifeWave's 20-year anniversary convention in Dallas, Texas.
Wow.
And oh my goodness gracious me, are we in the right place at the right time with the right product, with the right company?
Correct.
And just listening to David Schmidt spoke a lot more at this convention than he did in previous conventions. And at the moment, what I'm busy doing right now is, guys, I only went to sleep at 2 o'clock this morning. I've been doing little thumbnails and editing. I'm editing the whole convention, and I'm going to have it all the little parts broken up. So by the time you guys are asleep, I'm going to be working. And when you wake up tomorrow morning, most of you, you're going to see all of the links, and we can actually watch the segments from the convention. So I've been working around the clock on that. So I'll have Friday and Saturday done. And and yeah, we had a lot of people that attended the conference. A lot of people were on the live streaming, which is really amazing. We had about 150 people on, and and yeah, we're gonna be calling the people on. We're gonna ask people to put their hands up who'd like to make a comment on what they learned from the convention. A lot of people that were physically there, and some of the people that watched it on the live streaming. But before we jump in, I'm going to quickly tell you the two nuggets that I got out of it. I'll let Lucinda quickly share a nugget or two she got. Then I'm going to hand over to George, and then we can open it up to everybody. So the two things that I got out of the convention. Now, I've been to many conventions in my life, and let me tell you, I've never seen anything as spectacular as this in my life before. It was phenomenal. They put on a beautiful show, so professionally done. And, let me tell you where my mind is at right now. A lot of people didn't see it, but at the end of day one, there was a gentleman by the name of Mickey Willis. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of him before. He's a director of controversial video clips or videos, documentaries. And he created the documentary called Plandemic. You've heard me use that word many times, and also the Great and also the Great Awakening. And he spoke on the stage for half an hour with David Schmidt. He's on the same page, David and Mickey, and they're going to be putting a documentary out next year, early next year. Now, just to give you an idea, is the clips that the documentaries that he's done before had, listen to this, guys, not 1.5 million, not 150 million, 1.5 billion. That's with a B, billion views. So that's the type of exposure that LifeWave is going to get. And that's going to be next year. So what happened to me, and George and I were talking about it as well, I suddenly had urgency. In other words, guys, there's a lot of people I haven't even contacted on my name list in the last 2 years. People I just haven't had a chance to get to. Guess what? They're getting a message from me because I've got this urgency. Because if I don't tell them about LifeWave now, let me tell you, when that documentary comes out, they're going to hear about it from somebody else. So I want to make sure I'm the first person to do that. And I'm going to be sending a message saying, sorry, I haven't spoken to you. Yes, as Liesl said,
FOMO.
if I don't get this to you now, you're going to hear about this. So I need to get this to you now. So that's where I'm at right now with regard to just getting LifeWave out there. And that just takes me to the second thing is, we just got to share this, and we've got the tools at our disposal. And, also what I picked up, what a lot of people were saying at the convention, we mustn't try to be like the doctor and the specialist. All we've got to do, is George says, we've got to become professional pointsmen because we have the tools. Say less to more. Yep. Say less to more people and use the tools that we have at our disposal. And, you've watched some of our previous trainings, drip feed, guys, little bits of info. And then the last thing is the X39. We've always got to keep this in mind. A lot of things were spoken about the what's to come. David Schmidt he's got 7 to 10 years of products lined up over the next decade for us. So David doesn't talk about the next year, the next 2 years. He talks about the next 10, 20 years. So we are sitting with a company with such a solid foundation. And we've always got to keep in mind, yes, the water technology is coming, the supplementary products are coming, but we always need to keep in mind, guys, where we're at right now, the hero is X39. Focus on what we have in our hands right now, which is the most amazing product in the world. Let the rest follow. So those are the two things that I got out of the convention, and I just wanted to share with everybody today. Lucinda, what did you learn? And then George is going to tell us. Well, George was on the stage quite a bit. We'll talk about that.
That leads me, yeah. Only two things, Chris. Yeah, like I said, spectacular event from beginning to end. We were privileged to go to the SPD retreat a few days before, and that's where we actually met David, was able to speak to him. We did a sneak video as well. And guys, like you can all just imagine, that was pretty much the highlight of everything we went through. But from start to finish, excellent. We were treated like royalty, and it was just phenomenal to experience all of that. We still need to sometimes pinch ourselves and say, did that really happen? I think Evelyn messaged me this morning and said, are you guys still hyperventilating? And I think, yeah, I think that's the right word to use. So meeting David was definitely a highlight that will stay with us for the rest of our lives. Meredith as well, and lots of the other corporate leaders and fellow SPDs as well, and just the team in general. And to think that there was close on 6,000 people attending the convention this year, it just sits it in a different league, and it just being like yesterday when we were speaking, being in a room full of patch people, we always refer to that in our own little small gatherings that we do. Now, just imagine that on that scale and what was experienced and what was shared. I think another highlight for me, something that Chris and I have always dreamt about, was the drone light show. So to see that firsthand, close up and personal. If you guys haven't watched the video, have a look. Absolutely spectacular. Just to be in that energy and to know that, world-class events like this can be set up and just experience it. It was mind-blowing. So if I have to break down two, it's pretty much on that. And then definitely Mickey Willis and what he brought and what David shared right at the end. So once the whole convention is downloaded, David's message right at the end, where he really speaks from the heart and explains how this wasn't easy for him to get where he is now. There was many times when the business almost had to shut down, and we wouldn't have LifeWave if he didn't have assisted and did all the things he did, even in his private capacity, to make this work and to keep the business going. And I just really want everybody to have a listen to that. And whatever your struggle is and wherever you are at building your business, getting through tough times, speaking to people, keep that in mind, right? Took him 10 years to do certain things with X39. It's not an overnight thing that happened, and where he is now, it's because of the work he put in and the endurance that he had. So that was also a beautiful message that he shared with it.
Completely. 10 years to bring X39 to the marketplace and $4.5 million. And a lot of people laughed at him. And he said that in his talk. A lot of people laughed at him and thought he was crazy. So, yeah, a lot of people think we're crazy right now, but we just keep persisting and we just keep changing the world one patch at a time, one person at a time. George, the man of the stage, over to you. Thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you for making this possible for us. We're so grateful for you. Thank you, George.
Thank you. I'm actually... I'm never unshaven. 26 hours travel today. I was wrecked. I realized I hadn't shaved today. Haven't even unpacked my bags. So it kind of it was at the Salt Lake City opening for the European and Asian teams. We were about 30 people there. So we really had a very close and personal time with David. Chris and Lucinda went there just now, and they actually got a private tour of the Welcome Center, which is wonderful. I'm very, very happy that they've been there, developed their personal connection with the relevant corporate people for the interests of South Africa and growth through South Africa. Chris just said something that I was very happy to hear, that they've talked about the other countries in South Africa. So that's we have to be patient. So patience is something that I talk about all the time, but we have to be patient. But since South Africa is growing, South Africa will be the gateway to the other neighboring countries around you that everybody's always talking about. So that may take a couple of years, may take a little bit more, but at least it's at the top level of the company, part of the discussion. And we will have I'm going a bit around the houses here, but we will have the water maker in due course. We will have the supplements in due course. We don't know when that will be, even for Europe. So first markets are always America, then Europe follows, then the other markets, depending on regulations. What I do know, what I would guess, is that there is a sort of tentative date for a corporate opening in South Africa with new offices and so on, middle of the year, and I would guess they would try to have that all happening at the same time, which would be wonderful. As Chris says, meanwhile, we focus on what we're doing. I actually didn't record it, but I got an award, and I'm still not sure what it was for. But whatever it was for, I would say thank you to all of you and all the other teams that I work with, because it's something to do with that. If somebody actually did do a screenshot of what was on the screen before, I'd love to read it. So look, guys, this story, that what we're and before I say that, I was super happy to meet again Sandy in person. This is and Bridget in person. This was the second time I met Sandy and Eric. It was in Johannesburg the other day, or the other month. It's like 2 months ago only, and to be able to meet again in Dallas, and we will meet again in Marrakesh in no time, which is very exciting. So one of the things that's important to understand, build from event to event. You have your local events in South Africa. Chris is doing the conference, the Johannesburg events. Then there are the international events. Way back, Chris said to me, we'll speak on stages together all over the world. We've already been on stages together in Johannesburg and London, and we were on stage kind of together in Dallas, even though not exactly at the same moment. And guys, so what I'm saying here is, we have something that is quite different to anything else that's ever existed. Quite different in terms of products, and quite different in terms of a company. Many people have had poor, sad experiences with network. There are people who've obviously made lots of money, but there are many people who've had a bad experience. Javi always says it's mostly because of the networkers rather than the product. But here what we have is the inventor of the product, a product protected by 180 patents, who decided to get his product to the world by using a network structure. Most of you know that story, but very briefly, right at the beginning, when he developed a product for the Navy SEALs and the towers went down, and he thought, the Department of Defense priorities changed. And he said nobody was taking the phone. How shall I get this to the world? He thought of working with a company called GNC, General Nutritional Company, or Nutrition Company. But a friend of his he had a business lunch with, who recommended him to somebody else who might invest, who introduced him to a doctor, introduced him to another doctor, introduced him to Coach Richard Quick of the Olympic swimming team. And he found him 3 weeks later patching the Michael Phelps 2004 Olympic swimming team. One thing leads to another. So he said, maybe God was telling me that I should work as a network. And one of the things he said on stage, which is really very important to know, he said that he is fully committed to the network. He's not going to, people are always worried that companies might change the way they work. And David is not. He's bringing us new products to the network, for the network to be able to work with, for the network to be able to benefit financially. One of the products, now this is really important to understand, one of the products of LifeWave is the compensation plan. David has as much drive to make people, allow them to get to lose their financial anxieties and continue on to build generational wealth. That's as important to him as getting the patches out into the world. I would say to you guys this. I had a conversation with him on the cruise. I had a deeper conversation with him in Salt Lake City. And I said to him, look, we always, or Javi always says this, I'm always saying this, some of you guys will be saying it, but I'm always saying this. We're offering better health and well-being, four things, better emotional health. And, the number of messages I receive with things like, you don't know the joy that this has brought to our family, or it's very hard for me now to be in a bad mood. Those kind of messages. Spiritual health. If I think that I met Warren in Johannesburg, and pretty much all of you, I guess, they know Warren's story with the home invasion, 5 years in a wheelchair, excruciating pain, was going to Dignitas in Switzerland for assisted suicide, tickets cancelled, airline tickets cancelled because of COVID. Finally, he listened to his friend who kept saying to him for 21 months, put a patch on. Within a day, he's out of his wheelchair and climbing a climbing wall. If I think that my first reaction to this was no, I'm not interested. If I just stuck with that, no, I'm not interested, he'd be still sitting in a wheelchair. So this is spiritual health and financial health. And we do need to underline. A lot of people say, yeah, I'm interested in the health side, but not so much in the money side. I remember there was a comment in one of the groups, somebody saying, oh, you people, you're only interested in money. And I thought to myself, I didn't write it, but I should have done. Look, these patches would not have got to you if people hadn't been interested in the money side too. So, guys, what I understood when I hit 1,000 people in my organization is when I saw the money landing in my e-wallet, when I remember some of the stories. I didn't know all those 1,000 people, but there are amazing stories just among those people. I said, go make a fortune, because the more money you make, the more people you're helping. And I think this is something very, very basic to understand. About the event, absolutely knockout. We have a person who didn't manage to get on the call, maybe will when there's 99, I'm going to say. And she kept saying she's been to lots of events. Diane, Chris and Lucinda met her the last night I was there. We had dinner together. And she was saying she's been to lots of events for marketing, for networking. She said she'd never been like that one. And one of the things she always has in events is anxiety. And she said she had zero anxiety at that event. And Chris was saying that's because you're in a room with 5,000, like 6,800 people all patched. So Chris might want to talk about that in a minute. So the way they ran that event was really 5-star, world-class knockout. We had the Blues Brothers, who I love, and I used to listen to them a lot playing on the first night. And then my daughter was, there are 2 bands on who I actually didn't know on the last night. My daughter was like, "What? They had those? Marine 5 and Gwen something or other. I forget her name."
Gwen Stefani.
I'd never heard of her, but Zelda was like, they had those playing. They didn't. They weren't really there. Yeah, I'm going, well, I'm from a different era, Jimi Hendrix, Bob Dylan, and so on. Anyways, from start to finish, top to bottom, it was just an amazing event. So I would encourage all of you. We now have the incentive trip to which will be in Dubrovnik this time. I was on the one to where was it? Prague, Croatia. I don't think anybody from this team was, but Alexandra, who I interviewed, Alexandra from Romania, Alexandra Neamtu, she was there. She was in Dallas. She was on the cruise. We met in Barcelona. So we're all developing and deepening our relationship with each other and with people from other teams, and that helps us all to grow together. Because going back to what I said to David, those 4 things, I didn't get to the end. I said to him, "David, I think you're doing something bigger here than what's immediately visible." And on stage, he said about his birthday present. His wife every year asks him, what does he want for a birthday? And he says, "I'm a bit hard to get a birthday present for me." He said, "But every year what I talk about is peace in the world peace, that people are not killing each other." And he talked about something with the light, with the patches. I'm not sure if it was on that stage or in the event we had before, about love and light. We have a person not in this team who describes these patches as the light of love. And I said on a video in the last year's virtual event, and guys, don't forget this year's virtual event in January, I said that I share David's vision to get these patches into 1 billion homes. Why? And this is something else I said to David, because I believe that the emotional wave expanding out from those 1 billion homes will help this very fractured world. These are big thoughts, big ideas, but we're also on a day-to-day, person-to-person thing. Sorry, I got to turn the phone over because Javi's calling. A person-to-person thing with lots of little details that we go through with everybody. Don't forget those, but keep the big vision as well. I hope what I've said reaches you, and I hope you find it inspiring.
Thank you, George. Thank you. A lot of good reminders there. A lot of good reminders. So all the new people, quite a few new people. It's always nice to hear some of the information that we might not have heard. And so beautiful. We've got a global team. There's people from all over the world on this call right now. And we're talking about Africa. We've got our Scottish team on the call. And let me tell you, Scotland is going to be making waves. Watch out, LifeWave. Scotland is on fire. And there we got the event again there. Why I'm talking about this is there's going to be events in everybody's different countries, or as close as, and this is why it's so important just to get to these events, which is so vitally important. And I think we're going to get the first person to get on is Sandy Feast. Here we go. Here's Sandy, and I'm going to ask Sandy to unmute. It was so awesome. We were having lunch about a week before in Johannesburg, and said, okay, next time we see you, we'll see you in Dallas. And this is Sandy's first big event. And wow, absolutely amazing all being together. Sandy, tell us, what did you get out of this event?
Well, the first thing I must say, I've been to another event in America 12 years ago with another company. This company, David, the technology, the patches, the public speakers, the entertainment, the vision, everything is not in the stratosphere. It's out of the stratosphere. It's not 5, 10, 20, 50 times bigger, better. It sounds like I'm comparing, and actually I am, because it's that amazing. I mean, just everything about it. And it's difficult to describe it when you're not there, because you feel the vibe. And
Yes.
people who know me know I function with vibes. So it's the vibes. It's just everything about it.
Yeah,
When
the
I think
energy.
of David, massive visionary, massive, streaks ahead of others. The science, what he's brought to the table, the extra drones and what he's planning with the drones, the new building, the experience center, the welcome center, the new products he's bringing out, the water machine, the marketing videos. He always thinks, and Meredith said the same thing, how does it impact the brand partners? That's who they care about. The marketing videos, the app, and the hologram, and just everything with it. And I'm not going to take loads of time because there are lots of people who I'm sure will chat. But the other thing is, when I listen to Nicole Malachowski, the pilot, I mean, she's one of 6. There are only 6 who fly the Thunderbird, the Blue Angels. And not only was her message powerful, the way she delivered it, and she spoke of courage, dreaming big. And I think that's a lot of the challenge with many of us. Our dreams aren't big enough. They're not scary enough. They've got to be almost scary. She spoke of trust, gratitude. Now, to me, Chris knows this. I think George, Lucinda, Bridget knows it. I live in gratitude. All I can say is I thank David, Lifewave, George, Chris, Garvey, all of you, the team, every single morning and night, because it's made such a dramatic change in our lives and everyone who we're impacting. So I believe we should live in gratitude, and that changes vibes. She spoke about vulnerability, action. It's no use being a groupie, joining all the Zooms. We've got to get into action. And finally, what I want to close on is there's a short-term, medium and long-term vision that I see that came out of this. There's the monthly promotion ranking, which I see as short-term, leading into 7th of December. Medium term is Croatia. Longer term, set your intention to get to Croatia, to rank up in the meantime, help your team. It's the only way you can do it, is teamwork. Get to Croatia. All of that will build towards get to America. I know Bridget and I have booked our tickets already for us and our husbands. I'm sure Chris, Lucinda, and George have booked. Harvey's booked. We've booked because, in my opinion, I will never miss an event again. Never. You've got to get there.
I love it.
So I'll just add it to the wish list and put it out there. Sorry, Sandy.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, what I wish is that we fill a plane from South Africa. And that's my bigger vision. So get out there, get moving tonight. Because it's well worth it. You have to come to America with us. Thanks, Chris. It's the best event I've ever attended.
Oh, thank you, Sandy. Thank you. Thank you. Would you ever have imagined 22, 23 months ago that this would have been possible? And, you know, Sandy doesn't mind us talking about it, where, you know, a lot of us, when we started just on 2 years ago, a lot of us, as George always talks about, is having your back against the wall, as have many, many, many people globally after what happened with the pandemic. A lot of people's lives fell apart and people are still trying to pick the pieces up. And, you know, when I joined, I didn't have the money to join. I had to go sell children's toys on my knees for 3 days to get the money to join. Sandy could not even join at what we call the previous bronze kit yet. And I'm sure you don't mind me saying that, Sandy.
Please.
We all went through some financial hiccups, obstacles along
More
the
than
way.
hiccups. More than
hiccups.
Yeah.
We were all, hiccups is not an understatement. It's an understatement. We were all seriously back against the wall.
Yeah.
You know, with
Yeah.
headaches.
And here we are, down the road. And did you ever think that you would be able to come to an event like this and build the most amazing team that you have? And financial anxieties, as George always talks about, is a thing of the past. And that's exactly what George was saying. LifeWave has got 2 products, guys. 2 products. And I said that the other day, and the person said, no, but in the back office, there's 10 sleeves, there's 10 products. I'm like, no, wait, hear me out. The 2 products are, the one product is the product range. The other product is the business side of it. That's what LifeWave offers, is the 2 sides, because we're talking about health and we're talking about wealth. Health and wealth, the word sounds the same, looks the same. It's all completely interconnected. And that's what LifeWave does, is giving people their lives back. So, Sandy, thank you. Thank you so much for that.
But we need to go with the team. It'll be far better with many of us. So South Africa, and we'll take our flag.
Oh, you will take our flag. Yes,
Flags.
lots of flags.
It's
Yeah,
true.
absolutely.
In the Orlando event, I think I was alone. So this time, I think there were like from different teams, maybe 6 or 7 people. In Marrakesh, they said, how many people? In Prague, they said, how many people are you going to bring to Marrakesh? I said 12. I didn't want to overdo it. I think it's going to be more than 12. So I haven't done the number yet, but yeah, love it.
Yeah.
George, I was in Orlando.
Forgive me.
Here's Vilja. I've just welcomed Vilja onto the stage.
Smack, George.
Vilja actually lives in Salt Lake City,
Yeah.
here in Utah, and came to the event. We saw you again. It was so awesome.
I've got to tell you guys, we had a break between one of the events and the night event, and we had a hippie party in my room. I think 11 people in my room. I had a bottle of Spanish wine. I love that. That was so much fun. Billy was there, Chris, Lucinda, Bridget, and some other people. And I had a friend saying she had no idea because she was sharing the room, and she just walked in and she went,
what is going on here?
It was great.
So let me tell you something about Vilja. So Vilja, on the way back from Dallas to Utah, guess who she was sitting next to in the airplane? Meredith. She sat next to Meredith for 2.5 hours, okay? Like the president of LifeWave. I just sat there going, what are the chances of that? Vilja, I'm sure that was literally just the cherry on top for you over the weekend.
Oh, it was absolutely the cherry on top. And it made me realize just how down to earth, how authentic Meredith is, how authentic David is. And one of the things that she said to me, that every time there's a decision that's made on a corporate level, David will come back to them and said, how is it going to affect the brand partners?
Yeah.
If it affects the brand partners, he vetoes it. He doesn't even consider it. So that was like, wow. It was an incredible, I mean, what a blessing to have that privilege, to sit next to her, to talk to her, to, you know, she's seen both sides of things. And that's what she said to me, is that I, for 10 years, did what you guys are doing. And now I'm on the other side. So I really, truly understand both of it. I loved what she had to say. And she spoke on the Saturday afternoon, right before David concluded the conference. And she said, this is what she said. She said, why belief? Belief creates vision. Vision creates resolve. Resolve creates change. Change creates progress. And progress creates success. And that to me was something that just really resonated with me. So that's my nugget that I got. She told me, and we don't have time right now, but she told me how Nicole came about to be the speaker. She said we were so male heavy on the speaker. She said we needed some feminine influence. And oh my gosh, Nicole is a most amazing speaker, and just love the fact that she tells us that she basically walked away from even applying for the Thunderbirds. Now the Thunderbirds are a big deal here in the US. They come to air shows. I mean, it is like meetings. Just they're celebrities in the US between the Thunderbirds and the Blue Angels. Those are incredible pilots and celebrities. And so when you have the ability to go to one of their air shows, so to think that she was going to walk away from that and to see what she's accomplished, and she really made us realize that it doesn't matter. That's what David said as well in his, when he closed up the conference. He said, stay the course no matter the challenge. So yes, I mean, I've struggled. It hasn't been easy here in Utah because Utah is the capital of network marketing. But I loved what Wayne said. Wayne said, he said, instead of looking at it as network marketing, look at it as social selling. So sometimes it's a matter of how we present what we're doing and also what we say. And now I do not remember the people's name from Portugal.
Paulo and Liliana.
Yes, thank you, Paulo and Lydia. I absolutely loved when they said it is our social responsibility to give this patch, even if people don't use it, don't want it, we have to open our mouths and tell them about it. That is what we have to do. Once we have done that, we have met our obligation, because this is not come into our lap by accident. I mean, literally, for me, I'm a very God-fearing person, and I literally felt like God was saying to me, I gave this to you last year because you were really struggling. You've done a little bit with it, but you haven't completed your potential. And so I have to go. And I also, because Meredith asked me, she goes, so, okay, so what are your goals? I said to her, I will be SPD by next convention. I have to get my butt in gear. And it was just, as Chris and Lucinda said, the cherry on top to have the privilege to sit next to this incredibly beautiful soul spirit. I mean, just was incredible. And let me tell you, when they say go to each convention, since I signed up, which was last year when Chris told me about this, I have been to the Tampa convention. I was on both of it. I wasn't able to get tickets to the convention in Florida last year because they were sold out already for the corporate convention. But I have been to all the virtual conventions. I have my ticket for next year for the corporate convention. I have my ticket already for this is a team convention. There is something special about being there and being with people. I mean, I've got the privilege of meeting Sandy and Bridget, oh my gosh, and Eric. It just filled my heart. So being there makes such a difference. And then having Chris and Lucinda here in the state of Utah is another, I mean, I feel so privileged to have them here and to be hosting them. It has been, the journey is worth it. And even though sometimes we may not see the light at the end of the tunnel, we have to remember what David went through to actually get this on the map.
Oh, completely. Oh, you gave me goosebumps. Thank you, Vilja. Thank you. Just absolutely amazing. And, you know, talking about the humility of David and Meredith. Guys, listen to this. We all know who Meredith is, right? Meredith is the president, the right-hand man of David. When we got to the office there in Utah yesterday, Meredith went into the kitchen and made me, little Chris from South Africa, she made me a cappuccino. Meredith made me a cappuccino. Guys, where in the world do you see stuff like that?
She literally came out to take time out of her day to come and say hello to us, spend 5 minutes with us, spoke about Vilja, made Chris a cappuccino, and then, yeah. So it was a beautiful moment just to spend with them. And like you said, Vilja, also just touching on, it is our social responsibility. Be the light was part of the theme, or the theme for this event. And I think that's what we need to carry with us. And just as hard and challenging it is as it is sometimes, we just have to speak to as many people as we can and just plant different seeds as we go. I think George is trying to, there we go. That's the photo that George took with Meredith. Was
in
that
Prague?
Prague?
That was in Prague. And in Prague, I said to Meredith, why are you doing this? I wanted to know, and she said, "Look, I've been in network all my life, in the field and in corporate, and a headhunter called me and said, I think you really need to speak to this guy, David, and David Schmidt. He's looking for somebody to be president of the company." And she went to see David, and the first question she told me that she asked him was, "Are you going to take this public? Or are you ever going to sell the company?" He said, "Never. It will always be privately held. He's never going to take it public, and he isn't going to be selling the company." For her, that was the most important thing to have clear right from the beginning. Because when we put, I've done this with people in the past. When I was working with, I was helping guide people into as a kind of a business coach at one period. And you do a lot of work. We wouldn't want to do a lot of work with this company, and then suddenly David says, "I'm going to sell it to somebody else," which has happened with other companies, who then run it in a completely different way, or run it into the ground, or take it public where there's no control. Suddenly, a board of directors have no control, and the person whose idea it was in the first place has no control. Something that I heard as well is that every week David puts the thumbs up on the payments to everybody. He authorizes it, which is cool. So he's really very much on top of what's going on.
Right, then we have Bridget. We spent some time together. Bridget, was that like mind-blowing?
Just a little
or
bit
like
of
what?
time together. Just a little bit of time. How about a week nearly?
Tell us, what was the nugget, the gem that you got out of the convention, Bridget?
Chris, there was just so much stuff. You could write a book on what we learned and what we experienced there. And every single speaker had something that they shared from the stage and from their hearts. And I made a lot of notes, yes, so we don't have time to go through all of that. But like Sandy said, we said at the end of that, when you went into the conference, you were person X, but when you came out, you weren't person X anymore. You're now person Y, Z, or whatever. You've taken yourself off in another direction. And you've definitely got far more, let's say, commitment to yourself, to the company, and to the people that you're actually working with. And the things, again, that came back to me is that thing of consistency. We really need to be consistent, that do something every single day with your people, on your business, speak to people. Somebody out there is waiting for your call. And there's no things, as you say, such as coincidence. If somebody comes into your mind, and that happened at the convention, I went, I haven't spoken to this person for like 6 years. Oh, but write his name down. And then we flew into Atlanta on our trip home. I said, my friend Johan, he lives here in Atlanta. I've got to speak to him. So you start to get all these triggers, and you go, there's people all over the world, not just on your doorstep in South Africa that that you haven't even contacted. If I go through my phone, and you were saying, I think today, Chris, as well, my phone, I think, has got about 1,200 names. If I phoned 200 people, it might be a lot on that phone. Besides, people say, I don't know anybody. Well, let me see your cell phone first. I want to see how many numbers there are in that phone before you tell me that is an answer, because you're lying.
Little tip, just while you said that, came Bridget. Guys, go through the country list. Go click on the flag, go through the country list. Think of who you know in that country. It really is important to do that. I mean, Bridget, you probably even surprised yourself that you hadn't thought of that person.
Well, absolutely. I have seen him on the odd occasion when I was on Facebook, but that was probably about 6 months ago. And I went, oh, yes. And then I forgot about him again as such. So it's like, woo, he's now back on the radar, as somebody I need to speak to. Yeah. And the other thing was the question of visualization. We don't spend enough time visualizing our goal or our dreams and where we want to be, because visualization is so powerful, because you can only manifest something that you focus on, and that's part of your visualization. So that one has to get into the habit of really spending some time every day just on that little process on its own. And we'll all be surprised where we end up by just doing a little bit of that every day as well. Yeah. And of course, get back to reading good stuff, good books. And I've read Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, but probably about 10 years ago. So now it's on my list to reread it. One of the
Thank
other
you for that reminder.
Yeah.
That visualization, Bridget, is so important. Some of you guys might have heard what we've been doing the last basically 2 years. Anything that you want to achieve, we just get that little piece of paper, you write it down, put it on the mirror, specifically in the bathroom, because that's where you have to go every day. You should go every day. In fact, I hope a lot of you are going there every day. That's where you got to brush your teeth and shower and everything.
Well,
but beyond that, it's Lucinda has put the little notes, guys. It's stuck on my fan upstairs, my desk. It's actually sitting here, right here on my computer, laminated. Exactly what we want to achieve. It's on my coffee machine. It's in my car. I opened my cupboard. It's sitting there. So Lucinda's made it where it's visual about 7, 8 places everywhere.
And even now while we're traveling, there's certain things that we pull through because we're not in our general environment. So we still see them on a regular basis. And it really has helped. So whatever way it is that you find it easy to visualize things. Some people want to do vision boards and have it all in one place. Some people want to just have it written down and repeat it or say it a couple of times a day. But wherever it is, it's that subconscious taking in of what you want, and make them big. Make them big. Like Harvey always says, elephant dreams, right?
Hey, talking about Harvey, guess who's joined us on the call? We have Mr. Harvey Solis on the call. Harvey, unmute yourself. Make yourself seen. Here we go. Where is he?
What the water machine did to me.
Wait. Let's have a look. Wait, I'm trying to look for you.
Where are you?
Wait. Hang on one second.
What the water machine did to me. Holy mackerel.
Let's
Can
have a
anybody
look.
see him?
Wait, I'm looking for Harvey. I'm looking for him. Give me a second. Don't see him yet. Just wait.
I drank the water. I drank the water.
We're not going to recognize him.
Maybe that's why I'm not seeing him, because I don't recognize him. Maybe that's what it could be. Let's just
take a look. Everybody sees it but you.
Wait, here we go. And I'm going to put you on spotlight. Oh, wait, hang on. Look at that.
That's what the water machine did to me.
No wonder we didn't recognize you.
I had to shave because it was too much hair. Hey, listen, I just popped in because I honestly love to sit back and just watch the growth of people and their leadership. And I sit here and I see it with how everyone is speaking. It's such a joy to see how George has grown, Lucinda and Chris and Bridget and Sandy and Villia as well. And I knew for a fact that when Sandy and Bridget came back from this event, they were going to be totally unrecognizable. I've never seen Sandy and Bridget so fired up. And then I seen them, and it was so great to see them. And you know what was the best thing for me was spending alone time with them. The event was fantastic, but sitting down and just spending time with people who you care about, and that's everything. That's everything to me. Sitting down with the leaders of South Africa and talking about vision and how they appreciate being there, and watching George get that award, it was so warming to me. and it's a joy to see, because you maxed out this meeting. And I remember the time you were struggling to get 10 people on a Zoom call. Okay, I remember the time that you were struggling to get 15 people on a Zoom call. You have 100+ people on the YouTube channel. That just means exponential growth. And you know who did it? You guys did it. I didn't do it. George didn't do it. You guys did it. Okay, we were just the guide. And you want to know something? Like the event was like, be the light. Guess what? You were the light. Someone was your light. Is the reason why you're here. Okay. And that one text matters, doesn't it? That one phone call matters, doesn't it? When George called Chris and told him you look like shit, that call mattered, didn't it? Okay, that call mattered, didn't it? When I talked to George at midnight on a Zoom call, he didn't know me from a bar of soap. That Zoom call mattered, didn't it? And that's what this business is all about. And you know something? You got to, and like Lucinda said, you have to have those elephant dreams. Okay, we have our targets as SPDs. We still have targets because we have to lead by example. We have to lead by example, but we can't stop here. Those that were on that call on virtual, you have to go with that excitement and build to the next event. Okay, what's the next event? There should be 700+ people December 7th at that event that Chris and Lucinda are doing. Yeah. Invest in yourself and build from event to event to event. That's why this team is growing the way it's growing, because of those events. Because people see what you see, bringing new people there, brand new people who aren't even managers there. Because the most important part is teaching. Okay, it's teaching. I'm working with Sandy Feast's group. They are popping directors and managers like Skittles. Okay, because of the small things. Because of the small things, not the big things, because of the small things. Olga and I are going there December 7th. We're going to throw down the thunder. Buy your tickets today. Not yesterday. Buy your tickets today. It's going to be the best investment that you ever made in your life. Because out of all 17 years, I missed one event. One, due to unfortunate circumstances. But I never missed an event, because at every event, you're going to pick up something that's going to elevate your business. I don't care how old you are. Okay? Sandy Feast is 72. She allowed me to say her age. Okay? Because I know how women are sensitive with their ages. But she allowed me to say her age. And look at her now. Moving and grooving, always improving. Okay? Everything is leadership. Leadership is everything. If you're here today, that list should be growing from 100 people to 150 people. Guys, buy your ticket. I have another call I have to go on at 3 o'clock, because my phone has been going off the hook since we came back from that event. And it's proven from event to event, if you do the activity, your business will grow between 10 and 15%. It's proven. 10 and 15%. That is huge. That is huge. George talks about financial anxieties. Do the work. George talks about having a vision. You know, if you're confused, go to your upline. Tell them to explain to you. Our job is to educate. My excitement, I can never turn it down. I fall more and more in love with this company every day. Every day. More in love with it, especially coming back. Listen, I drank that water like I didn't drink water for years. Okay, I went multiple times every day for 3 days and drank that water. Okay, and I felt great. I felt great. Am I going to get one of those machines? Apps 100% absolutely. I'm going to get one.
Me too.
Apps 100% absolutely. Why? Because you know what? We have to lead by example. Okay, can everybody get it at one point? No, but you will. You will. But anyway, listen, I am so proud of you guys. We look forward going out there in December. We're going to spend some quality time. Chris and Lucinda and I just mapped out what does and in Dallas, what the event's going to look like is going to be fire. Buy your tickets today. Anyway, I gotta go, guys. I gotta hop on another Zoom call. I just wanted to see all you fantastic leaders lead, and just to give a shout out to Jamie Japp, brand new manager, just yesterday I think it was, because he did the small things. He did the small things. We're gonna teach that. Anyway, I gotta go. Love you guys. Peace.
You too. Bye, bro. There we go, Jamie. How's this? This is absolutely crazy. I had the little mouse thing on Jamie's name to unmute him and put him on the screen, and then Harvey mentioned your name. So, I mean, you obviously meant to be talking to us right now. Jamie, congratulations. Well done.
Congratulations,
So
well done.
super duper
Guys.
proud of you.
It's great to see you again after
Yeah.
7 weeks ago when we met up the first time in Scotland.
Yep.
And truly, thank you so much. It's your inspiration and the support of this amazing, amazing community. And of course, watching the conference from back here in Scotland and getting fired up and inspired. And really, for me, it's about sharing the love, sharing the joy, speaking to people, telling them how wonderful you feel, how inspired, how excited you are about what the future looks like. Because let's be honest, over the last 3-4 years, it's been pretty dire. So my plan is to change the world. I won't get to everybody, but God, am I going to try? And that's my mission. And that's what I want to do. And I'm so passionate about that. I'm so grateful to Make Manager. And I want to help all my team, my small, my quickly growing team, hopefully, and with the right effort, just to do the same thing and help other people too, because I can't reach those people that they know. And that's the power of the repetition and encouraging and nurturing. And I'm just so grateful to be able to speak with you guys. And I'm coming to South Africa. Might not be December, but I promised you when I met you, I'm coming next year. And I'm going to bring a wake of people from Scotland.
I come to London at the end of February. We come to London at the end of February. We've got a LifeWave corporate event at the end of February in London.
Well,
so we can meet. I hope we meet in person.
I would love to come in February and meet you, George. Really, really would.
Cool.
Well, let me tell you, Jamie is a what we call a blue M&M. Anybody that doesn't know what a blue M&M is, we all know M&Ms, like little Smarties, little packet. You get probably about 50 in a packet. And, there's brown ones, there's yellow ones, there's green ones, all different colors. But in a packet of M&Ms, normally about 2, maybe 3 M&Ms. So they're very rare and very special. And let me tell you, when we drove up to, I think it's in Perth that you're in, eh? Perth in Scotland. John drove us up there. And we met with you guys for that hour and a half coffee. And straight away, when we got in the car, I just said to Lucinda, there's Jamie, blue M&M. That's a blue M&M. You can spot a blue M&M a mile away. And let me tell you, most of the people, I'd say all the people on this call right now, all 86 people that are on this call are blue M&Ms. Just don't forget that. You are rare, you are special, and you're here for a reason.
Great.
There's no accident that you guys are all sitting on this call right now, today, this morning, this evening. Every single one of you, I want you all to know that.
Yeah.
And you are special people, and you've been chosen. There's a book that I read about 30 years ago by Dr. Heather Harder called Many Were Called, Few Were Chosen. So hear that. Many were called, few were chosen. And that's what we've got to do. We've just got to share this product, share this business with people. It's not for everybody yet. You know what I said? Yet. So or a lot of times we say, when people say no, they're saying not right now. It's just all about timing, guys. All about timing. And, something what Meredith said to us yesterday, something that she reminded me of, is something that I forgot about. And she was talking about flipping cards.
Right.
Flipping cards, normal playing cards, you get 52 cards in a playing deck. And guess what? You get 4 aces in that deck of 52 cards. No more, no less. And what is an ace? An ace is like a blue M&M, a person that just is going to run with this. And they're going to do this business without you. And she just reminded me yesterday, Chris, you're just flipping cards. And guess what? Those aces, you might get one in the middle of the deck. So you're going to go through like 25 cards before you get an ace. You might be lucky enough to get an ace in your first 5 or 6 cards. Sometimes they might all be at the end. So get through those 52 cards.
Yeah, they're there.
They're there. But Jamie, thank you. Thank you. It was an absolute honor meeting you. And we're looking forward to a really long journey together with you. Thank you, Jamie. And well done again. Well done. Right, then we got Robin. Robin doesn't know this. I put her on the spot here because she's been smiling on the call the whole time, and Robin was very interactive, watching the convention. And I know Robin got a lot out of it because she was sharing with me during convention. Oh my God, you see this? You see that? Robin from Botswana. How are you doing, my friend?
You always do this to me. Quietly sitting away, sipping my little whiskey, and you always do this to me.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, George. Yeah, I have to say, I had such FOMO, and I'm sure I can speak for other LifeWave friends who I haven't met in person, but I feel I know really well, like Debbie Lott sitting up in the Midlands. I got to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning after the first, and I could not sleep. I stuck 2 silent nights on and I could not sleep. I was buzzing and my head was spinning on, ways I felt like there was this urgency to run fast, especially when I saw Mikki Willis. I mean, Mikki Willis, I have been following right from 2020. And what a brave guy. He's got a tribe with him who, thank goodness we have these brave people out there that are so concerned about our health and our children's health. And I'm a grandmother, and our grandchildren's health and their futures. And I'm just so grateful. It was such an awakening, like a big hoorah moment for me, because I always kind of knew it all along. I knew when there was not a moment when I wavered from this product. When it was first introduced to me, it felt everything in my gut, it just was so real. And it's probably, other than decisions I made in 2020, it's probably the most decisive. There was no choice going with this. And I haven't ever felt that I haven't been in the right place at the right time with the right people. And there was such an energy, even though we weren't there. I had terrible FOMO. I was trying so hard not to feel jealous. I mean, all of you there with all those amazing people. I mean, I was messaging Chris on WhatsApp saying, you cannot leave there until you shake Mikki Willis's hand. So I hope you did.
Yes, we did. Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah, no, I think, from an African perspective, and I know that we're part of the South African team, and I'm not sure how many people appreciate it, but it seems easy to be part of South Africa, but it's not really. We have, in what I call the outlying countries, huge challenges, and lots of restrictions and licensing, and we're trying to build our teams in our little countries. We only have a country with 2 million people, but some very sick people who need healing. And, South Africa has its challenges, but let me tell you, the rest of Africa has even harder challenges. There are so many restrictions and licensing and all sorts of things. So, we've got to tread quite carefully. But it's hopeful, we've got a little group growing in Botswana all over the place, and we have massive distances between us, between Maun and Gaborone, for example. I mean, it's probably easier for us to get to Joburg. And the same in Namibia. I see Ria's putting up something. Namibia, Botswana, Zambia, Malawi. And I have to just mention one person who I don't think is on this call, but I don't know anybody who's worked harder, and I cannot say thank you enough to God for one. I just know it's come from there, for bringing Sandy Ashfield into my life, because, oh my goodness, I could not have signed up a better brand partner. I mean, she was absolutely a gift from God, and I am so grateful every day when I see the work that she does, because, oh my Lord, I cannot keep up with her. She is just
She's
like
just
a
running with
machine.
it.
Yeah, and I, you
So
know, I mean,
passionate.
yeah, and just such beautiful energy and commitment. I mean, you talk about commitment. I don't know anybody who's more committed than she is. And yeah, and everybody else that I see, you know, I see Charles every time I have these. I don't know Charles yet, but Charles, I'm going to come and find you in Cape Town, because every time, you know, we have these calls, I see Charles. I've sent friends to Charles's presentations. And yeah, I mean, it's family. I feel like we're part of a really big family. We have a mission. We have no choice. It's something we've been chosen, and we have to go with it. We just have no choice. And there's a lot of work to do before next year. I mean, serious amount of work to do. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for representing us all so well. We'll be there for the next one. Sandy and I've already said we'll be there.
Yay,
Good,
that
good.
is so exciting. Thank you. Thank you, Robin. Thank you for all the work you do. And I know the challenges that we have in Africa, and that's why Lucinda and I, we didn't say, oh, you know, we're coming from South Africa. Please, can we have a meeting? We'll be in Utah next week. When can you meet us? It's just, you do what you need to get done. And thank you for George for opening that door, for Wayne. And, you know, it's a process. And we're getting there. So all I can say is thank God we have at least South Africa open, so we can use that as a stepping stone to move up. So that's a process.
Actually, South Africa is blowing their minds. South Africa for the last 2 months has been the top country in the European, Middle East, Africa area. They have North America, they have Asia, and what do they call Pacific or Asia and Oceanic? Asia Pacific, and they have Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And in that grouping, South Africa has been the top the last 2 months, the top country.
You've got to say Southern Africa, because us lot in the neighboring countries might get offended.
We're going to start saying, yes,
I don't want to
Africa.
offend anybody.
There we go.
I'm going to say a couple of things. So listen, guys, you've heard people talk about vision and so on, but there's also tracking. So Chris knows very well, and I would tell him every week, I would track my numbers. How many people on my left? How many people on my right leg? Every single week, I'd write it down on my little notepad. How many people all up? What the money I received that week, and I could see, you know, that's maybe my way of visioning. But once you track it, and then you're looking at it, and you're thinking about it, and you see there's a growth, and then I go, okay, the last week it grew 3.1%. Let me see what 3.1% times 52 weeks is. Wow, my goodness, you know. So there's that. May be useful for some of you. The other part of it, this is really 20% of this is how it works and the work we do. 80% is the work we do on ourselves. So some of you have heard me say that, but I'll say it again. It really is important. And we all do work on ourselves in different ways. I'm not going to say do this or do that, but just, you know, whatever it is, you know, some people, they want to get better at speaking in public. I would suggest join a local Toastmasters. They must be all over the place. It'll help you to learn to land on your feet like a cat in any situation. Got to say this, Diane, who didn't get on the call, she's on the YouTube. She took me to a spa on my last days in Dallas. The guy who was giving out the towels and the shorts and so on for the spa, I said, where are you from? He said, Cuba. How long have you been in the States? He said, 4 months. I said, wow, maybe I should tell you about what I'm doing. We're in WhatsApp. We're speaking by WhatsApp. I said, what did you do in Cuba? He said, I was a psychologist and a counselor. I said to him, when I came back to give my towel and stuff in, I said, well, what you've done in your life is perfect for working with people. And then about people, it only takes one person to blow up a line. You know, just now, Robin was saying Sandy Ashfield. You never know who knows who. And, you know, you reach through one person to another, a whole line can blow up because of one person who comes in. So anyways, yeah, go for it.
Absolutely amazing. You know, when you work in the business, you know, there's three ways when you work with people. In like traditional job, for example, you're working for somebody. So you're either working for somebody, with somebody, or through somebody. And that's how it works. And that's where exactly what George is saying now. It might not be the person that you've personally signed up. It could be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 levels deep. And all of a sudden you find a person like Sandy Ashfield, which is never, guys, Sandy Ashfield has never been in the network marketing industry at 50, just over 50 years old. She had 3 sorbets that she owned for 24 years and beauty salons. And she just saw this and said, oh, my hat, obviously what the product did for her. And she will be SPD, I think probably before the end of the year, the way she's going. And like you say, and it's in the most unlikely places where you find people. So as George is saying, just talk to absolutely everybody. So is there anybody else that was on the live streaming or on the Zoom that would like to just make a comment or two? Please put your hand up. Maybe 1 or 2 more people before we wrap up. It's always so awesome to hear from other people what their experiences has been. So anybody that was on the live call, please put your hand up. If you don't want to show your video, you don't have to. It would be nice to, but please put your hand up if you'd like to make a comment on what you saw over the last over the weekend. So like I said to you, I'm going to be straight after this call, I'm going to be doing all the editing. So like I said, I only went to sleep at 2 o'clock this morning. So I must say my eyes are definitely looking a little bit on the square side. So by the time you guys wake up in the morning, they're all going to be there. And I'm going to be working on Saturday as well. Hopefully I can get it all finished and I'll have that all beautifully in a link tree. Lucinda just wanted to mention 2 things quickly.
Yeah, just 2 things. So the next event coming up is our event in Johannesburg, 7th of December. So this is a great opportunity, Botswana, Scotland, wherever you are in the world, come down to us. It's probably the closest, easiest contact point. We've got our international guests coming. Those of you that's been on at the other events, that's seen recordings, you know the caliber and the class of convention we deliver. This is going to be next level. So let's utilize this. Let's motivate each other. This is the perfect, I think actually Charles is coming up. And so Robin, that's a perfect opportunity to also meet him and for all of us to be together, right? And if you've looked at the tickets and the options, we've got the 1-day main event, but there is a dinner afterwards and there's also a gathering on the Sunday. So we are utilizing that so that people can connect, communicate, and spend time together. So really take up that opportunity and let's fill the room, and also for Harvey and Algo that's coming from afar to support them in this. And then secondly, for those of you that heard the word Croatia and not sure where that fits into the bigger scheme of things, that is the next LifeWave incentive trip for the Europe, Middle East and Africa region. Yeah. So we've got a group set up separate from the 333 group. So whoever is interested in that, the link was shared, the information was shared. The group is there for support. If you just want to look at it and find out a bit more, ask a few questions, find an accountability partner, and really work towards it. And like I always say, even if you just take this opportunity to build your business, do daily activities, and connect with like-minded people that's doing the same, that in itself is a big win. And bit by bit by bit, you'll get to a point where you will be attending these incentives, and they are really, really great. And just like the SPD retreat, Sandy was sharing a bit of what Marrakesh is offering. They're all getting a goodie bag. There's every evening you arrive in your room and there's a gift and a celebration and lots of activities, and it's just so nice to meet and mingle and spend time in a social environment with like-minded people, and you build relationships with different people around the world and how they're doing it and what it's a community. So it's bringing all of that together. So for all of you that want to do that, the links was shared yesterday. Otherwise, just reach out to me again and we'll add you on there. Cool.
Wait, and I just got a message from Harvey. He just wanted to quickly say something. He popped back on because we forgot to say something, and Harvey's got something to talk about. Here we go. And Spotlight, here we are. And awesome mute. There we go.
All right, I came out my meeting. I told guys I'll be right back. So I want to just say this promo real quick for everyone who is not a manager right now. Olga and I will pay for 3 people, full-blown meals and everything at that event for 3 people who go, 3 people who are a manager. If they go direct between today and the event, we will pay for 3 people to go to that. I think it's what, 650 Rand for the food and the ticket.
Yeah.
We are going to pay for that for 3 people. So whoever's a manager today and they go directed from today, you got to show me snapshots and proof. Don't cheat. I see everything. Okay. 3 directors. They have to be a manager. We're going to pay for 3 people to go to that event. 3 new directors. All right. So you have it on record here. 3 directors. Chris, you let me know. George, you let me know. Sandy, Jamie, Jap, I'm rooting for you. 3 new directors. I got to go back to my meeting. So 3 directors, 3 new directors who are going to attend the South Africa event. All right. I got to go. Bye.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye. Okay. Thank you.
And I want to highlight something I said to Chris, which he didn't realize. You guys, a lot of people spend a lot of time working to put capital together. Now, if I ask you guys, how much work is it to put a capital of $1 million US dollars together? It's a lot of work. It's many, many years to put a capital of $10 million together. It's here we can do this in 2 years of talking. And those, what do I mean? $1,000 a week from LifeWave is not the easiest thing, but it's not a hard thing to do. That is the equivalent of a capital of $1 million at 5%. Yep, when you take it to 10 times that, just think of how much capital you would, and you would need years unless you were just absolutely, you invent something that just goes viral So what we're doing here is actually, if you think about it like that, when you put it together, $1,000 a week, you built a capital of $1 million. When you put 10 times that together, and I say that because there are people on this team or who are there or almost there. You then are with a capital of 10 million. It's just astounding. There is nothing like this. And I always say, I'm all about the patches. The patches need to be everywhere. They need to be everywhere. But I'm also just as much about the other product of LifeWave, helping people to get out of financial anxieties and get to the next step of building generational wealth.
Here we go. And finishing off, all I can say is we just we highly paid storytellers.
All right, then I'm going to add one thing which Javi always says, and you guys, you know me, I'm always telling stories. Never tell a story without making a point, and never make a point without telling a story, because you can transmit everything with stories. If somebody sits down and say to me, tell it to me straight, bum, 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 no stories, fine, I can do it. But not everybody can input like that. Very few people can actually input like that. But when you tell stories, that's when people catch the message. I'll say it like that.
Completely. As we say, facts tell, stories sell. That's
it.
And
I'll leave you with one thing. Okay. Enough in Salt Lake City.
The last one.
Yeah, but this is the way. In Salt Lake City, they took us up to the Olympic ski park, and they took us to where the ski jumpers go. And the thing, it's almost vertical. you're looking down this thing, it's like that, and I didn't even want to go near the edge. It was like gently to the edge, and these guys, they get on this thing and they start and they're doing, by the time they get off it, they're at 100 miles an hour or 97 miles an hour. Incredible. But basically what we're doing is we're learning the little ski slope to the next ski slope to the next one. And as our live wave grows, we get better and better at transmitting it. I know it's not a great analogy, but that ski slope has stayed in my mind. You've got to be insane if you to stand on it. But kids are doing it since they're kids till they get big enough to do it. Okay, I'm done.
There you go. And then lastly, like Robin just said, George tried to ride on a mechanical bull. He tried. It didn't work that well, as I'm sure all of you saw the video. But guess what? That's like life. Just because you fall down doesn't mean that you can't just get back up. Brush yourself off and just get back up, get back up, get back up.
That's just life.
George can do it. We all can.
Somebody said something and I said, I think I prefer to ride Ubers or donkeys. But I like Ubers better because you can always sponsor the driver. I'm talking with my drivers at the moment.
Awesome, guys. Thank you all so much for taking the time out. Thank you for participating. I hope that every single one of you got something out of this call. And so I'll be editing and I'll get the recording out later and share this out with everybody. So from our side, good night, God bless, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you guys soon. Love you all. Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Bye, guys. Thank you, George. Bye, guys.
Thank you. And if